Yes.
All right.
Welcome, everybody. This is the CyphaDen Chat podcast in association with the Denku podcast. I'm your host, Tayamu Denku. I got my homie Pestilence with me, part of the CyphaDen fam, Two-Face Media. And tonight we got special guests out in the Jers, as is in the building. What is going on, man?
What up, though? What
Yeah,
up, though? What's
man.
shaking out there?
Yeah.
Everything is awesome, man. Everything is wonderful. Everything is great. Life is awesome. Peace and love. Peace and blessings. Peace, light, good energy. You heard?
Yes. That's a good way to start right there. I love that intro right there. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
I want to just ask straight up from the start. I want to know, you technically hail from, you came here from South America, right? In your teens, you came here from South America in your teens. Am I getting this right? And then
Correct.
and then
Correct. I
you
came from Georgetown, Guyana.
and then you moved to Jers, or like directly?
I moved to East Orange, New Jersey.
Okay, so did did you get in touch with hip hop before moving to Jersey, or did you find it when you moved to Jersey?
Found hip hop when I moved to Jersey.
That's what's up, man. So how was the upbringing inside? I know nothing about South America upbringing really at all. How was the upbringing, and what was the cause of the move?
The upbringing was natural. The upbringing was the way you should be living. We live off the land. We live as a one united people, each one teach one, all for one, one for all. But everything that I guess people are into now, from the Dr. Sebi information to, eating healthy and getting your life right and all these fruits and they're telling people, this fruit cure cancer and all that stuff grew in my backyard. So
Mm,
the way we live was just the right way God made it and God intended us to live, which is you plant your crops in the back of your yard, and once your crops grow with season, you will eat those. So like in mango season, you'll eat mangoes. In soursop season, you'll eat soursop. Coconut grew 24/7. You know what I mean? So your water was coconut water. You know what I mean? You went swimming in natural habitats. You caught fish. Your cows were grazing in the back dam where you lived. So everything was like right there. Like it wasn't no supermarkets to where you had to go and get your food that was frozen. Our supermarkets was other people who had land and grew their own rations and had their own farms and animals. They would bring that stuff fresh daily to the supermarket. So it was
mm.
like a farmer's market, and it's still the same way to this day. So it was like a farmer's market where everybody invested in each other. There wasn't so much control. So yeah, that was how I came up in Guyana. You know what I mean? They call it the jungle, or they call it the not the concrete jungle, but just a well-rounded type of vibe we had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then that was crazy drastic change then, right?
Yeah,
From there
absolutely.
to Jers.
From what I heard, my parents came up here so that they can have a better life. But as we know, this life is not the better life. This is like the slave mentality life where you're tricked into coming to a country that tells you this is free. But when you get here, you realize you're actually becoming a slave. Everybody that lives in America is a slave to the European government system. You know what I'm saying? So don't matter who you are, white, black, Asian, Indian, you know what I mean? You are a slave. Like you come here, you work freaking 75 years to not enjoy your life. And you working 9 to 5 for a long time. And you only working so that you can pay a house or pay a car. It's like no life at all. So real living, I experienced that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to living this way. And, we came, like I said, my parents came here for opportunity, and opportunity was just to make more money, not necessarily be free. You know what I mean? Because everyone thought that more money mean better life. It is kind of sorta, but you lose freedom coming to try to get a better life. So when my parents got here, they wanted to get a better life, and they worked their butts off to do that. And all they ended up owning was a house and a car, like nothing else. You know what I mean? There's no, like in Jersey, people don't farm no more. You know what I mean? So nobody has fruits growing in their backyard like back in the day. You know what I mean? I think certain parts of Jersey you can go and you will find people with like um pear trees and apple trees, but when I think the late 80s came, all of that kind of went out the door. But some people told me in the 70s it was still people who grew fruit in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? There's certain parts of PA that a lot of people do it, but in Jersey, it's like not the same no more. Yeah, so they came in for a better life and realized when they got here they got bamboozled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you, man.
So
Yeah.
I'm curious on that tip then, because like I've always been curious about that parity basically between those two worlds where like you got this, free world, quote unquote, in America, in the United States where people are saying, you can be whatever you want to be, but the reality is a lot like what you said, where it's like everybody's working 9 to 5 jobs to barely get by in most cases, and like you said, your parents bust their ass and they end up with, a car and a house, which is, still a lot, but it's not, not nothing crazy. On the other side of it, what was it like from like if you're in that other world in South America, ambition wise, if you have say somebody that wants to do something grandiose, or is that just not even really on the docket because everybody's happy and happy to contribute and kind of exist within the community?
Well, on that note, if you had a skill, the people of the country recognized you. So like let's say me for instance, I was young and I was a great shot putter, if that's a word. So like we would try out for the Olympics, and the people would come to certain schools, and like certain schools would actually put on Olympic type events to see who had a skill in our country. If you were a great soccer player, people recognized you and you were able to do and go to certain schools and travel and play soccer. If you were great at cricket, that's another sport. You know what I mean? People recognize you for that. If you was a great boxer, you was so there were ambition, but we didn't understand the realm of how big you could be in Guyana as far as the whole world noticing who you are. Because like I said, soccer and cricket back then was mainly a I'll say it wasn't Americanized. You know what I mean? Like it is now. Back then, you know what I mean? So soccer, everybody knows who not Odell Beckham. What is it? David Beckham.
David Beckham.
David
Yeah,
Yeah,
Beckham.
David.
Yeah,
David
yeah.
Beckham. Everybody knows who David Beckham is, and he kind of like made the sport popular. But in Guyana, we all love Pele. And if you know soccer, you know that it's an African, European, Argentinian. Like it's like people love that sport. But it wasn't famous back then in America. You know what I mean? So your ambition back then was to be a very well educated person or to get to the Olympics.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, being in Jersey as a teenager, what was your first dive into the hip hop world?
My first dive into the hip hop world was, well, when I was 6 years old, I was already a DJ in Guyana. So like my parents
Mm,
would always have these parties. Like if you know foreigners, we party, we drink, we dance all day long. That's just a thing. You come out, you come home from school, it's a party. You know what I mean? So it's always going to be reggae music playing or jazz or R&B music back then. So my parents, well, my mom and her friends used to always have these parties on the weekend at my grandma's house. And you know what I mean? They'll dance upstairs and have a good time. So I used to just be a little kid sitting back watching the logos on the records, on the vinyls. And you know, as they're partying over the years, I'm in the midst of it all. Like I'm in the mix, like I'm right there watching them drink and have a good time. So I started learning the records. So I was like just watching one day, and then when they were too busy, the song was like zhush, zhush, zhush. You know what I mean? And they were chilling, drunk as hell, but the record was over. You know what I'm saying? So like when the vinyl got done, you know how it goes zhush, zhush. I ran over there and I just put another record on, and they was like, "Oh!" They went crazy. So that was my job after I did that the first time. And I was only 6 years old, a prodigy DJ dude. You know what I mean? So my love for DJing was that right then and there. So I kept doing that for mad years. So when I came to America, it was only right that I started DJing. So I ended up going and grabbing some turntables, and I started learning how to shop for records because there were a lot of record stores in Newark, New Jersey. And then my cousin convinced his mom to let us start doing basement parties. And that's where the DJing started. So I started learning hip hop just from being a DJ, learning the music, learning the artists, learning what songs was dope. Like back then, I'll get y'all some records. The Wick was fresh. Um, I got a story I always tell. One of my neighbors, he had Diamond D, Best Kept Secret, and I couldn't find that record. I didn't even know what the record was. So I woke up one morning, and he like, bam, 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 and I'm like, what the freak is that? What is that? And I go to the record store and I'm trying to find this joint. I'm like, I can't find this record nowhere. And I was too cocky in a sense, and also to myself that I wasn't willing to walk across, like right across the yard to ask the bro, like, yo, bro, what's that song you playing? And fast forward, that dude ended up being DJ Mud, No Brain Class first DJ. And it was crazy. Like he was already in the midst of some of the outsiders. And he already knew who they were and what they were going to be, but I never inquired. So I just kept my mouth shut. And then one day I go to the store and I see this record, and I'm like, yo, what's this orange record? And I get it and I put it on, and I'm like, oh, this it. And that's how I found out that record, The Best Kept Secret. So when I went to when we went to the basement party that Saturday, my aunt used to cook food. You know what I mean? My aunt, my little cousin mom, she always, he's old now, but my cousin Arv mom, and she always cooked for us. Like we had this little community of our own because we were foreigners. And you know, some of the American kids would come to my cousin's backyard. He had a basketball hoop, but every Sunday she would cook food and feed the kids that who mom probably wasn't feeding them. So we'll have music playing, and then later on the night, you know what I mean? We'll just say we're throwing a party. So we'll have like a get together amongst us, some of the kids we went to school with, just privately. And you know what I mean? It started off as that, where we were just playing music and entertaining ourselves, dancing with the girls and whatnot. And then it turned into, yo, we could make some money off this. And that's when it's turned into like more, we have started allowing outsiders to come in because, you know, we had a little tight circle called MP, you know what I mean? And MP circle was real family orientated. Even if you weren't family, it was family, you know what I mean? But then once we started letting the outsiders come in, it got more like a basement party vibe, and I would be DJing and I'll drop those records. I remember dropping Shabba Ranks, Trailer Load of Girls. Like we used to have fun. So that's where hip hop, well, music, period. Because I don't box myself in and just call myself a hip hopper because I didn't come in it like to do certain things. A matter of fact, let me keep it honest with you. I used to spin on my head in Guyana when I first saw it. So I used to get cardboard and I used to spin on my head, but I didn't master the b-boy thing in Guyana. When I got here, that's when I started learning how to break dance and all that stuff. But yeah, it all started with me being a basement party DJ.
That's what's up, man. Isn't it kind of? I think it's kind of cool. Like if you grew up around the hip hop culture, how you didn't just try to do one, really. You tried to do all the shit eventually, like at some point in time. Like I remember I used to go to b-boy battles. I mean, I didn't really learn it either like that. Like I learned like I could do footwork. I mean, now I don't even know now, but back in the day, back in the day, I could do some footwork. You know, I had my own set of I had the Stanton turntables back in I actually still have them in the garage, but I used to DJ to open mics in college.
Word.
You know, I do beatboxing. I I used to graph shit in high school. Like I just love hip hop, the culture in general, the art, the everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then my prominent craft is the MC shit. That's what I just ended up being real good at. So
Word.
I made that was my main channel. But you started out on the DJ tip. What made you want to get into rhyming? Was it just being around the outsiders or the people that you were around? Is that what made you want to start rhyming?
What made me want to start rhyming was my MP crew. And I give credit to my bro Wes. Like before the outsiders, I knew who the outsiders were in high school because my best friend at the time, one of my real good friends, K Mill, he was one of the outsiders' sister's baby father. And he is one of the outsiders' sister baby father. But I was like so into just not being around a lot of people. I didn't let people in my world. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And stayed away from letting, back then, we used to cut school. Well, they used to cut school, play hooky and all that. I never did that. I stayed loyal to my mom because she asked me to graduate. So what got me into rapping actually was my bro Wes. And I tell people that it's like the funniest thing. So we saw Juice, right? We saw the movie Juice. And one day my bro Star Raven was like, yo, man, we could shoot our own movie. And he was part of MP2 at the time, right? So he was like, yo, we could shoot our own movie. I'm like, yo, we definitely can. Yo, all them niggas did was had the camera and they put it in a building and they put it in the streets and then they had a party and that was the movie. So bro, Star Raven used to do the sports or the news for the high school. So he was already in tune with getting the camera, filming, and all that. So one day we just chilling on in the backyard, and Star showed up with the camera, like, "Yo, we gonna shoot this movie." So we started shooting the movie, and the movie was called Push to the Limit. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
we did a scene, we did a couple scenes, but we never finalized the the, the house party scene. You know what I mean? We had the camera running up on people. I had certain parts, and then my bro Wes, after we got like close to finishing the movie, which we always all we needed was this party scene. We never got the joint done. So my bro Wes was like, "Yo, Az Izz, you should have write a rap for this shit." And I'm like, "Write a rap? Nigga, I don't know how to rap." And this was like 92, 93. And I was like, man, freak it, I'll try. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna work on it. So I went home because prior to all of that, I was with Loon One's brother. Well, no. After the DJing aspect, let me just try to remember clearly. So yes, I'm wrong. Wes told me to write the rap. I go home, I get a pen and a paper, and I start writing the rap. I've been pushed to the limit. Pushed to the what? I've been pushed to the limit. So I wrote a rap, and I come back the next day like, yo, I got it. And I'm over there kicking the rap. I've been pushed to the what? Pushed to the limit. And they was like, yo, that shit fresh. And I started kicking the rap, right? They was like, yo, word is born. I told you could do it. So my nigga West put the battery in my back. So now I'm amped. I got one rap and I stopped there. So now I'm still DJing and then I bumps into uh like I said, my bro K Mill, his cousin was this dude named Ghetto, and Loon One's cousin. So that's who I started hanging with first. Once I got off the porch and stopped hanging with MP. Like I used to hang with my crew, MP, which is my cousins and most of my cousins and a lot of my best friends coming up since young. So I started venturing out from them because they weren't the musically inclined crew. They were like family. They were into sports, but none of them really rapped or DJ'd or nothing. I only one person DJ'd and was freestyling. Rest in peace is my man Dink. You know what I'm saying? My young boy Dink passed away. He's younger than me. He passed away, but he was one that really would DJ and he would rap freestyle as well. So Dink would do that, but no one else really wanted to be in the music industry in a sense. So I started leaving the crew to go hang with Ghetto and Loon. And then I found out that Ghetto was a rapper and he was like the first one that took me into a studio to show me him performing on a record, which I think he took I Got It Made. Back then I Got It Made was the hottest beat in the world. And he took the I Got It Made beat and he did his like a remix to it. So I was able to see how you go in the studio and rap then. And also, I started learning how you can loop a beat in a sense. You know what I mean? So I learned rapping on a microphone in the studio and producing from watching him. Now, Loon and Slang was a group, and they were in the outs, but they had this mantra where they didn't bite nobody music, and they were dopeless. So they didn't really rock with Ghetto because he was doing parody rap in a sense, like, you know what I mean, taking somebody beat and making up his own rendition of it. They didn't really call that MCing, you know what I mean? So that's how I first got into like the rapping aspect of it. So I'm chilling, and then one day I hear Loon One rap, and I'm blown away, bro. And I'm sitting here like, oh, that's what rapping sound like. You know what I mean? Because I've been around Ghetto. I ended up being his DJ at one time. And I'm like, damn, these niggas is fresh. So I go back home now and I write my second rap. And I think I did a song with Ghetto and I put a verse on there. So Ghetto used to always perform at Club Little Shields in Newark, New Jersey. On Sundays, I think, too. So Sunday we go to Club Little Shields to perform. They were already familiar with Ghetto. They never heard me rap. So boom, he did his verse. You know, people was already, still partying, talking and whatever. Nobody was really paying attention. When I grabbed the mic and started rapping, bro, the whole club stopped and turned around and was watching me like. And when I got done, I got all applause. And I'm sitting there like, yo, I got it. You know what I mean? So that's how I started taking it serious. And this was way before the Outsiders, even way before I hung around any of the crew, like as far as the other guys. But I always hung with Slang and Loon, who was Dopeless. So before I was even an outsider, I was a part of Dopeless. And if you know, the Outsiders came together from a bunch of solo artists and group members. We weren't like the Wu-Tang Clan where we were tight knit. You know what I'm saying? It was like more so. There was a lot of selfishness in the Outsiders because a lot of people was doing solo music first. There were solo artists, and then you had groups with two members, and everybody decided, yeah, we're gonna be the Outsiders, and they were the Outsiders before I got a part of them. You know what I mean? And they had one song called Easy Wider. I remember that, but before then, I believe before the Outsiders, it was a group called Schizo, Prepared Never Scared, Dopeless, and No Brain Class. And then out of those, there were solo MCs. So that's how everybody came together. Like, you know what I mean? Never heard of Rod Digger even back then. She wasn't a major, part of the crew or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, all of that was like the making of the group, man. And I was in the, like I said, one of my closest friends, K Mill, well, gets dope because we all, you know what I mean? I was Diggity Dog, he was D Dog, you know what I'm saying? He was Diggity Dog and I was D Dog, one or the other. You know what I mean? That's what we called ourselves after Chubb Rock shit. Because Chubb Rock, the Chubster was one of our favorite songs, and that's what we used to call each other. But yeah, K-Mill was one of the members, well, one of my friends who knew who the outsider were, and he used to always tell me, even in high school, yo, you gotta meet these, they fresh, bro. You gotta meet it. And I was like, nah, I don't need nobody around me. I'm a solo, dolo kind of guy. I don't need no fake energy. I'm going to chill with my mom, and that's it. Me and my mom used to ride out. Like, my mom was like my right hand. She used to take me to DJ parties for the school. I used to use her car. She used to help me load the speakers and the equipment up in the car. Like, you know what I'm saying? So mom was 100 with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's real support right there. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was when I used to DJ. When I started rapping, she didn't want me to rap shit. You know what I'm saying? She did not like the rapping because the rapping came with smoking weed. And, my mom is Guyanese, and that smoking weed shit is taboo for damn near every foreigner. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But yeah, hip hop for me, writing for me was started by, I always give my brother Wes all the credit. He was the one that was like, yo, you need to write a rap for this movie. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope, man. That's fucking dope. And you never stop doing it, because I just heard these fucking crazy dope bars that you just dropped over the Griselda beats. I
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
them joints. Like, you barred out on that shit. Like, that shit, like, you still crazy with it. You know what I'm
Word,
saying?
fact.
Yeah,
So
man.
facts. Appreciate
Uh
that.
oh, of course, of course, of course. But yeah, uh I want to know, and you probably get asked this all the time. What made you feel like you needed to get at Eminem? I'm just curious.
Um,
Obviously you have history. Obviously, I don't know him at all. So you actually have history, so there's obviously reasoning behind it. I'm just curious because you know how I feel. I'm not a fan of M like that. I think he's a good bar writer, but
mhm.
I never liked his style. I never liked him stylistically. Everybody that knows me knows I'll say this like straight up. Like, I never liked the style. A lot of you know, the shit to me is just kind of, it just sounds corny to me. But like bars, he can write bars. So
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely would give him that all day. But I don't even own I don't I think the only Eminem record I own is the Infinite album on vinyl somewhere. I have it somewhere,
Word.
but
That's
that's it.
fine. Yeah. Well, let me answer. Let me tap into the Griselda thing first, right? So
Yeah.
these Griselda songs came about when I started listening to 38 Special, and
Mm,
I'm listening to like either someone handed them one of our old CD or
mm,
a cassette. Like somebody somewhere down the line let these guys hear the Jersey sound. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm listening, and then one day I'm listening, and I'm like, hold up, Conway Fresh, 38 Special Fresh. And I like him out of everybody. I don't know about everybody else, but I think 38 Special is like the best out of them all. And I'm listening, I'm like, yo, this our style, this our bounce, this is us. You know what I'm saying? And it took me out for a minute. I'm like, nah. So then I'm listening to the flow, and I'm like, okay, all they did was took the style and kind of like slowed the beat down like we would, and then they just started rhyming about the drug game. And I'm like, I get it, niggas selling dope out of, you know what I mean, in Buffalo. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me show them what we used to do to these beats. That's how those songs came about.
mm,
That's why I started dropping those bars. And then, one of the songs I'm dissing a few of the outs, the three amigos, the three fucking crackheads. I'm dissing Knox Hill, like on that song Keep My Name Out Your Mouth.
Yeah. And
You know what
that's
I mean?
because that's like a dude that like felt he had to come to
Yeah,
Eminem's rescue randomly or something.
correct. Like it's just that whole plot and ploy with those guys. But I had to line them up to show them like this is how you rap on these beats. Just to show the Griselda cats and the young cats like, yo, what y'all doing ain't hip hop. Y'all some geeks that's in the game. And y'all understand the numbers game and maybe y'all got bots and hackers and all that. It's cool. It's part of I guess this way hip hop, but we don't tolerate biting. And that's why I wasn't even going to respond to him because when I listen, I'm like, yo, you like a cornier version of who M is. Segueing to that, the Eminem thing is simple, man. It's like we all got in this game collectively as a group. When we got down, when we first got into this, when I first got into this, and even when I was in the outskirts listening, Slang used to always say, if you're not gonna sign all of us, we don't want the deal. I mean, I done seen Slang turn down deals because they didn't want to sign the outsiders. Me myself, I turned down Ruben Rodriguez, who wanted to sign me as a solo artist, Tommy Boy. As soon as I got off the plane, he was like waiting for us to get off the plane, and he was like, he handed me his card, was like, yo, I'll sign you tomorrow, call me. And I was like, yo, you got to sign the whole group. And he just gave me a look, and I was like, I ain't even gonna call this dude. You know what I'm saying? So we were always about us because if you know the outs, we were like a vagabond group. Nobody really had a stable home but me, Pace, and DU. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, I think Digger too. She lived with her parents, but everybody else was outside, like Slang and Loon. You know what I mean? They would be with their mom house one day and then be outside. And then we all ended up kind of like being homeless at one point. You know what I'm saying? So we had a bigger vision for the entire group. It was more so a group thing. When M came around, he came around when the Outsiders had a solo record deal. I mean, an album deal. We had a group deal. And where he was on the outside looking in, he was basically, I guess, seeing it as, oh, these guys are on, they're making a lot of money. We could come around them and, you know what I'm saying, and get signed. Because I know for a fact when M came, he wanted to get signed to the Outsiders. But we weren't like that. Like we were signed to a production company. Like a lot of people don't know this, but the three crackheads, I call them, Z, Pace, and Digger, came up with the stupidest idea to sign the Outsiders to Outworld Productions, which was a production deal, because they were I guess taken advantage of from someone who stole their money. So now they had an opportunity to do the same with us. They took the whole Outsiders and put us under a production company. And this was after we were already signed as a group to Sony Records. Chris Schwartz wanted to sign us as a group, but those three imbeciles convinced Chris Schwartz to sign the group to their production company so that the label will send them the bag and they can shit on everybody else. The Outsiders each signed for $2,000 back in the days. Z, Pace, and Digger, the three crackheads, stole all the money. And they have been stealing from then. And that's why you guys didn't get the quality and product music you were supposed to get. Because I was the producer then. And I went on the humble, you know what I mean, move or wave. And I used to say, it's only music, man. I could keep making music till I'm dead. Till I'm 80, I could keep doing this because I love the music. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, I'll sign to the production company for 50-50 split. Now, prior to that, before any one of them niggas did anything, I was already working on my solo compilation album, All Natural, because I had a friend, B Skills, who was in Philly getting bread. And he would come around, he'd be like, yo, you could do it yourself. So he invested in me putting together a compilation album called All Natural. And you know, I love the music, so I had everybody on this album. It was like the first Outsider album before you guys even knew anything came out. And while I was working on that, before we could even release it, I guess Praz and them niggas gave the guys that was on the album some money, and out of that money, one of the members came to me, was like, yo, what should I do with the money? I don't even know if these niggas remember this shit. These wet-head niggas. These niggas still on drugs. But Z came to me with 20 bands, like, yo, they pay me 20 bands. What should I do with the money? And I told him, I was like, yo, if you build a studio, I'm gonna run it. Just give me 50%. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted 50% of the company, not 50% production deal. I'm thinking production there, like, you know, going back to being a foreigner in America, not understanding the politics of hip hop, I'm asking for 50% of a production deal, thinking I'm getting 50% of the production company. What they came up with, the plan was, it was their company. They split it how they split it. I just was a producer in the company. You know what I'm saying? When I didn't even have to do that. I could have just kept doing my all natural compilations and putting everybody from the city on. You know what I mean? So they came up with this dumbass idea to sign the Outsiders to the production company, Outworld Production. This is why everybody was yelling Outworld. They came up with the dumbass idea to sign everyone to sign me as a 50-50 split producer. So this is when you go watch the interviews where Digga is saying she sold a beat to Electra Records for 20,000, and instead of giving me my rightful 50% of 20,000, they lied to me, just like they lied to the other Outsiders, and said, "Hey, they only paid us 10,000." So I'm thinking the beats 10,000, 5,000 goes to me. Now, you know, people may lie, but I was already producing records for the Outsiders, getting 5,000 a pop. You know what I mean? Her album came after that. So the crazier story about, and me making sense out of this, is Nightlife EP was out already before our album was even in production. Money, money, money. Fuck y'all niggas. I don't know if I can curse, excuse me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
F y'all
Yeah,
niggas.
you can say whatever you want.
All right. F y'all niggas was on the EP. The beat was already done. The song was already out. The label wanted to put her and Dude on the song together, but they didn't have time to record nothing new. So they took my record, F y'all niggas, and they took it to the label. Because the beat was already paid for by Rough Nation and I already made my money, who knows? They probably sold that for 20,000 too. I don't know. But I made my 5,000, which was more than enough for me and my family. You know what I'm saying? I did more with my money than most of them. So boom, now I get that bread, and they send the song to Electra. Electra gave them that money. I got paid $5,000 for nothing. So when she's out there trying to clown me, like, yo, we give him 5,000, I got 5,000, and that wasn't my beat on the album. You know what I'm saying? They changed my beat and put a different producer's beat on that song. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit.
So all that shit
Wow.
was big cap. Like, it's just always hate on As Is. Like, it's been like that from the minute I became fresher than all of them. Like, and the thing is, Dopeless was me, Slang Loon, DJ Third Rail. We spit. We didn't rap like Dr. Seuss. They were still doing Dr. Seuss type rhymes when we started doing syllables. You know what I'm saying? and they would call us corny at the time because they didn't understand that was the new wave coming. You know what I'm saying? And then once the people started realizing, oh, this is the new thing, then they tried to do the same thing, but they could never catch up. So because they couldn't catch up, I guess they made a pact. And they used to tell us to our face, they started rapping first, so nobody can get on before them. So you'll notice a pattern, right? If any one of us get to buzzing, like let's say for instance, I go viral tomorrow, you'll see that they will come in and just hate on that wave just because it ain't them who's getting the love. They don't want the money. They just want to stop any other outsider from getting shine and possibly getting more recognition than them. Because in their eyes, like I said, some crackhead shit, they started in their eyes, they started rapping first, so nobody can get on before them. And it didn't just happen to me. They did it with my brother Sass. You know what I mean? Salam alaikum, Sass. Sass had a link with DJ Self, and he was willing to bring the outsiders along with his plug, and they blocked that. You know what I mean? So those three imbeciles always been hating on the outsiders as a group because they don't want the outsiders to outshine them because their careers as solo artists didn't go the way they expected it to. You know what I'm saying? One went gold, the other two went sheetrock, and since then it's been hate anybody who's gonna win. You know what I mean? Because if y'all paid attention while I was going up, I was including people with me. I had Pace with me, and I didn't realize he was washed and warped out in the head, and his loyalty stood with some other nigga. You know what I'm saying? While I'm the one feeding him, getting him high and drunk because he couldn't do it for himself. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, the problem has always been they try to be like Jay-Z, but they had no business skills. You feel what I'm saying? Because you can't run a business if you're smoking angel dust. And we was dust heads. You feel what I'm saying? So anything that came in, they stole it. The Outworld production deal, I'm quite sure it was anywhere between 150,000, maybe more. They kept the majority of that, gave every outsider's $2,000, not once but twice. And the second time, we was arguing on the tour bus because I was telling them not to sign it. One of our managers, Ski, was saying not to sign it. Ski was like, "Yo, don't sign that shit. We on tour." You know what I'm saying? I think if I'm not mistaken, we were on tour, but we was on Major Figures tour bus because Major Figures, the label wanted a hit record so bad from us, and we had a bunch of them. They just didn't want to sell out in a sense. The label wanted a hit record so bad from us that because they couldn't get one, they signed Major Figures, and their production team messed up and put Major Figures on the wrong tour. They put Major Figures on tour with Mos Def when he was doing the Umi album. You know what I'm saying? So Mos Def is doing the Umi album. He's singing "Shine Your Light on the World," and Major Figures is coming up after that saying, "Yeah, that's us. Who them getting money now?" You know what I'm saying? So it was a bad promotional fit. Whoever did that tour with them put them in a bad position. And I ain't mad at Major Figures because all them niggas, my niggas, like Bump J, Gilly, you know what I mean? All them niggas was my niggas. Dutch, I fucked with all the Philly niggas, you know what I'm saying? But the label set them up, put them on the wrong tour. So we get a phone call from the label like they're getting booed every show because the Umi crowd ain't about the money. They about authentic hip hop. So we ended up going on their tour bus and finishing the tour for them. And while on that tour bus, they flew our contracts out to us. They mailed it to the next location we was gonna go. And we arguing, don't sign it. Ski is like, yo, don't sign it. I give y'all 20,000. When I get back, I got it. You know what I mean? Don't sign it. We could get $1 million. But the three imbeciles, three lying, hating, it's outsiders in the world, Page Z and Digger, the number one haters of the outs, they didn't want us to sign that. Like mainly Z didn't want us to sign that because he was caking up. He was taking all the money, stealing it, and doing nonsense with it. You know what I'm saying? So when I speak facts, and this is why they hate me, because you can clown, you can joke, you can laugh, but when you're the laughing stock of the group, when people see you in real life, it's not that funny. You know what I'm saying? When people see us in real life, like they like, oh shit, Az Izz don't look like what these niggas is saying. You know what I'm saying? And some people may pretend they're something and they're not, but all while they've been stealing the money, bro. The whole run they had, it was stealing the money. You know what I'm saying? Constantly stealing, and wasn't really doing anything with it. You know what I mean? You stealing thousands of dollars and still living in a trap house. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really did nothing with the money. I was taking my little money and living better than most of them. Like I said, I just never lived beyond my means. I didn't want the fancy BMW or the Benz, none of that. I got me a GTI. You know what I'm saying? And that joint got me across to Philly and back. So I used to always get the love from Philly, man. That's why the M shit was basically him coming around, him seeing some people not in the position I guess he thought they were, because when he first came, he came with Bizarre. Then he came after, I guess he started moving around a little bit. He came with Paul Rosenberg. They used to haze him. The three amigos used to haze him. Well, the two out of the three, the two dudes used to haze him. They'll steal his money. He'll dude to come out with like $200. He needs about $50 to go back home. He'll probably have that. You give him $100. He'll give him $100 and say, yo, I need $50 back for gas to get home. They'll steal his money. I don't even know if he remembered this shit. You know what I'm saying? They'll steal his money. Paul Rosenberg, he then came out. I'm quite sure they lined him up too because he got stuck. Once again, when our manager Ski had to pay his way back to Detroit. Bizarre then got stuck mad times. They had him on the porch looking like a sad puppy. Stole his money. He couldn't get back. So these niggas was hazing these guys, and they get all the praise and show them love. But the honest dude that never took anything from him, that literally let him come around me, because I was the producer, engineer, and a rapper at the time, playing my records, playing everybody else's records while they soaking up the game. And I just felt like, you know, you didn't come around famous. You didn't come around with a wave. You came around to either get clout from the wave, or you came around because you thought the wave was gonna sign you and make you a part of the outsiders, when them niggas didn't really like him like that. And he didn't realize he was coming into a group with the so-called people who were running the business that didn't never want nobody to be bigger than them. They really had to just bow down because everything they tried to do to stop them didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So they had to bow down and say, well, you know, it looks like I'm just gonna be a millionaire just rocking on people who got millions of fans out. So basically, my problem with M was, bro, when you came around, you wasn't rapping like that. You rap like Infinite. And like you said, you got that album. If you play that album and then
Oh
you
yeah,
play the first,
it doesn't sound anything like anything he does.
correct. And you know, with just that, you know what I mean? You should have been humble enough to say, all right, I didn't have a fan base in Jersey or New York. The outsiders, when they performed, they would allow him to do a solo song. Now that's selfless from a group of guys that had solo records. Slang was dope, Loon was dope, Axe was dope. Uh, who else? Yaya was dope. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was dope and everybody had solo records. We could have easily said, yo, let Az Izz, even myself, Az Izz got right. Let Az Izz open up for us today. But because we were a collective and we understood where we was trying to go, we used to put him in front of our fans. So we kind of gave you clout. some things that the youth say now. I hope they listening. The young kids on YouTube and all these, they always say I'm clout chasing. No, we gave him clout because nobody knew who he was. Put you in front of a whole audience. You rocked out. Not only that, we started bringing you on stage when we was on tour with the Lyricist Lounge. Put you on that. Not only that, we started bringing you on stage with Red and Meth. Then you got signed. And you was cool at one point because he would show up to video shoots like Adi Clearwater, you know what I'm saying, video shoot. Now, I'll be real, Pace was our drink. You know what I'm saying? And he'll show up to the Pace joint, but then something happened along the lines where it was like, as much as I sat in the studio and recorded him on records, or I would call him like, yo, we're gonna be in such and such studio, come through, and he'll show up and will give him the option. Yo, there's some beats. I got a beat, Govmatic got a beat, other people got a beat. Which beat you like? And you know, the money, the Russia Click song came around like that. So he had 3 beats to pick from and he chose mine. So he was like, all right, we're gonna rock on that. You know what I'm saying? Making him a voice, not just sunning him. You know what I'm saying? So we rocked on Money. Russia Click, I set it off just to show the people that's my style. Like if you listen to Russia Click and you listen to him on that same song, he don't compare to what I'm comparing as far as lyrically. His voice, his cadence is what he took. He took mainly the angry rapper style from me. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to be a little dude, you know, the what they say, what's the saying? The small guy is always angry, whatever. So I felt like my way of reaching the people was I'm the littlest guy in the crew. I gotta scream. You know what I'm saying? So that's like if you listen, you'll listen to the screaming. And that's basically what he took. And he took it so crazy that my cousin Trey, mom, may she rest in peace, Franny called them one day, was like, yo, no, not called them. They're playing one of his songs on the radio. And Franny says to Trey, yo, Trey, that's Aubrey on the radio? And he was like, no, mom, that's Eminem. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't know rap at all. You feel what I'm saying? So if someone that don't know rap would say that, it's crazy. Even my side joint at the time, Lauren, she would be like, yo, she called me like, yo, your song on the radio. And I'll go and listen to the radio. I'm like, no, that's not me. So back then I didn't really care because I had like 3 jobs. I was producing, engineering, and rapping. But I understood that. I thought he understood the assignment was we are a group. We've been busting our ass trying to get on. Everybody in New York been hating. We finally got a deal. We're trying to make it. And if this shit don't work, anybody that get on gotta bring the rest of us on because everybody hates us. You know what I mean? So that was basically why I started attacking them. But mainly is because you copy. You know what I mean? And if you came up in the late 80s, you know, the mantra was you
big
can't bite.
big no.
Big biting. If you bit somebody's shit, you didn't get no respect. You didn't get signed. You didn't get a deal. You didn't get no clout. You know what I'm saying? He was the only one that bit the style, and cats knew he bit it because, you know, I always give credit to Double O, man. Like Double O, one of the realest dudes out here. Him and Hakeem Green, they're the only 2 niggas from Jersey that ever said that straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the nigga did bite your style. You feel what I'm saying? But, you know, I don't think Hakeem ever said it on camera, and I don't want to knock none of his hustle or whatever, and they shouldn't knock his hustle. But they're just being honest because they came up in the no biting era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's basically what it was, man. It was like, yo, you bit something that wasn't yours. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Even when you first bit it, I dissed him in 2001. Like, you know what I mean? This ain't the first time I've ever dissed him. I've been dissed the nigga in 2001. Like, yo, you wildin'. You know what I'm saying? You with Dre now, you cocky, and you're not calling anybody to do what we did for you. Like, we put you on the Nightlife EP, bro. You know what I'm saying? We put you on songs before that. So it was only right that you got your deal and you do a song featuring the Outsiders. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, the Outsiders was me, the leaders, I'll say, the top niggas, was me, Slang, Pace, Z, Digger, and that's it. That was like the top guys, you know what I'm saying? Because we did the most work. The other fresh niggas was Axe, Yaya, and Loon One. You know what I'm saying? But Loon was like reserved. Loon was more like, man, I'm not rapping no more. These niggas is biters. And that's how come nobody was ever able to bite Loon's style. I just wasn't that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I could think of 1,000 styles because I got 1,000 styles. Like that was my thing. I could think of 1,000 styles. If you listen to the song Styles that I produced by the Outs, I produced that record and I started off with like a Mexican style. You know what I'm saying? Because there wasn't no Mexicans like really spitting. I'm a firm believer. You know what I'm saying? Born a bomb and read the mind of corny negras. You know what I'm saying? That was one of my style back then. You feel me?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so that's how I used to do it. So him getting that style wasn't nothing. Had he just say, you know what? I appreciate you guys for giving me the clout. Because basically his fan base is the Outsiders fan base. Because when we fell from grace, all our fans went to him because we weren't putting no music out. You know what I mean? Niggas was expecting for a label to sign them so they could steal again. And, you know, we had a big ass argument on that bus because when niggas got back from that tour, that tour that we ended up finishing for Major Figures, we had like 30,000 shirts, and when we got back, we only got $750 plus the $2,000 for signing, and everybody was mad. Niggas can't lie about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was never no real business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I got it, the bro, man. Other than that, you know, I tell people all the time, he got my style. He's not corny. You know what I'm saying? He's just a corny person. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody else in that situation wouldn't have a problem putting niggas on records. And the nigga's so corny, bro. Like I'll say this. This was later on in the years. This is before I even like I dissed him in 2001 and never said nothing. So Proof called me one weekend, like, yo, matter of fact, Proof came to Philly. My phone might die. I don't even got a charger plug and shit. But Proof called me in Philly, and Proof was like, yo, as is. I mean, he saw me in Philly, my bad. And Proof is like, as is, what you doing? I'm like, I'm chilling. He's like, come through the show. So I go to the show, but I ain't make it. He was like, yo, just come to the hotel. So I get to the hotel, I pull up. You know what I mean? They needed some weed or whatever. Proof seen. He was like, yo, I'm coming with you. I'm like, word. I was like, yo, I gotta go back to my crib to grab it because I ain't bring nothing with me. So boom, I go back to my crib and Proof was like, yo, man, you should come to Detroit and rock, do an album. I got the shit on Smash. I got the studio, Iron Fist Records. I want to sign you to Iron Fist. So I was like, you want to sign me? Like, shit is cool. You sure? You niggas ain't offered 8 Mile, nothing. Like, niggas ain't call us and be a part of nothing. So I'm like, I'm cool. So boom, I go out there and I do 11 songs in one weekend. And I got a song with me, Moo, Marv One, and Kanava. Now, this was the last song I did, and I'm talking about I was burnt out. I did 11 songs, and that was the 11th one. I was burnt out. I kicked the rap. It was like, all right, put it on the record. Kanava came in, spit his first verse. After Kanava, I think Moo went. Then Marv won, then I finished the song. Because, you know, back then, the dopest nigga was the last nigga. You know what I'm saying? And everybody in the studio had love for me. The Nine even came through, showed love at the time. And you know what I mean? But all them niggas changed now. But everybody was cool. Like for a fact, to this day, Swifty ain't never crossed me, never said nothing ill about me that I know of. The Nine, I'm not sure. He probably done said crazy shit about me because he got to stay loyal to him. But Swifty and Kanava and Proof was always 100. So I did the 11 songs. That song was one of them. Proof takes the album to these guys, and he come back and he says, "Oh, Bizarre decided not to work with you." And I'm like, how the fuck Bizarre got the last say so? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that just sounds like a cop out. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because I
yeah.
bust my ass, and at the time I wasn't doing too well. I mean, I was in the streets hustling to get by to pay my bills. You know what I mean? And Proof was, I guess he was really trying to help me, but they shot it down, bro. When I got back to Philly, and this because I've been moved to Philly in 2001 because I couldn't stand the backbiting, the hating with the outsiders, what niggas was doing, and the stealing money and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I knew too much, so I'm in Philly and I'm chilling, and I hear the D12 album come out, and I'm listening. I'm like, damn. Keep on walking, better keep on walking. Such and such and such and such, keep on walking. And I'm like, I know this beat. And I'm listening like, all right. And bro, these niggas were so cocky. They took my song. And the only thing they changed from my song was the chorus, but they kept Kanava verse on the same verse Kanava spit. I got that same song on YouTube, and you can go check it out. It's called Cremate Your Flesh to Ashes. That was me, Marv, Moon, and Kanava. That song, the same beat, different hook, but Kanava verse. They
Oh
ain't changed
shit.
nothing about the record.
Damn.
That's
And
crazy.
and and that was a D12 song. You know what I mean? They could have easily called me and say, yo, as is, whatever it is they didn't like about the verse, so you could change it or whatever, or just kept us on the record, just shorten our verses. You know what I'm saying? And made it like what we did with last what was it, last word. You know what I mean? But those guys have always been it comes off as like jealousy because like I said, the two imbeciles, two out of the three used to haze them. So like when they finally got on, it was like, aha, we on now, we can shit on y'all. Cause I remember when it started, when I started falling back from them dudes, it was at the D12 album release party in New York. They showed up, you know what I'm saying, at our album release party. I'm not sure if they were there, but they were welcome to be there, and we wasn't gonna hate on them. But anywhere we performed, they were backstage hanging out with us.
Mm,
But when it was their album release party, we ended up being backstage, and we was chilling until MTV cameras pulled up. And I guess the story was already being written then, where they didn't want us to be credited as the guys that inspired them. You know what I mean? And you can see to this day, he still doesn't give us our just due. Like he'll get on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and say all these names inspired him, and it's like, bro, you don't even know them niggas. You know what I'm saying? They
mm,
weren't there with you. They weren't 10 toes. And he'll say all these names, but don't mention the outsiders or anybody that really, really had hands on with helping him. You know what I mean? So yeah, that it was just got whacked. So when the MTV cameras showed up at the album release party, they told us we had to get out of backstage and we had to go watch them perform. I walked out the club and I was done after that. But Proof was my nigga. Till the day he died, he would always call me, ask me questions, because I was one of those guys that was married young. You know what I'm saying? And he got married, and when he got into I guess situations that he needed to speak about marriage, he would call me and
mm.
confide certain things in me. But that was like one of my good friends out of the D12 camp. Proof, man, I was at his mom's house at the after hours. Like, Proof was real, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was my nigga. He always called me for like uh a mentor kind of conversation. You know what I mean? I know a lot, but I don't really say a lot about Proof. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was
Yeah,
getting shit on.
I,
You know what
I
I mean?
I always heard Proof was mad cool. I've actually never got to meet Proof. I mean, I have mad songs with Marv One. Actually, you mentioned him.
Wow.
We
Marv
actually
the
have,
illest.
yeah, we actually have like a bunch of joints together. Actually,
Marv is the illest out of all them niggas. Back then, it was Marv and King Gordy's time, and they didn't want to give it to him. Like it's always this inner hate. And when I saw what was his name? Forgot this dude's name, but I saw this dude and he was talking about how um Royce blocked T Grizzly. I was like, yo, they've been doing that shit since forever. It's like they get a kick out of stopping someone from being a success when nobody stopped them. Like we could have said, man, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? But we
Yeah.
cared for hip hop. If you was okay, we let you rock. And we're not arguing. We wasn't jealous of none of that shit. Like, bro, you fresh. Or we think you fresh or you got potential. We're gonna let you be a part of what we got going on because this is for hip hop. This is not for money. This is not for clout. This is not for shit on nobody else. This is not for none of that. This is to make the music last and get the youth to understand that real hip hop is still alive and we can sell out if we want, but our heart and soul is into keeping the art form pure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's all it was. But yeah, man, them niggas knew. Like I was around Marv, Marv had hella love for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like I said, when I showed up, it was like I'm the nigga that the whole Detroit city know. Here go one of them niggas that help this nigga. Here the nigga, this the nigga that this nigga got his style from. The city know it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that money is in play now, and you know people are older now and they got bills to pay, and they may have been used to a certain lifestyle, so they're not finna tell the truth to stop their bag and put their family in a bad situation, which I respect that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you get a certain age, you gotta just tell the truth, man, because acting like we didn't inspire you, acting like you didn't copy, you know what I'm saying? Like you did it all by yourself. It's crazy because I know certain shit and somebody spoke up. His credibility be a shot. You know what I'm saying? And it's just corny that in hip hop, nobody really cares for the sport no more. Like me and you care for the sport because we still doing it. But when you care for the sport, it should be a Marv One. It should be a King Gordy. It should be who else was fresh as hell, man? Kanava. You know what I'm saying? Like them three niggas should have a record with somebody else. Like if I was a part of the movement over there, I'd get Royce the fuck up out of there. Because Royce was hating Proof. Royce was hating on Proof because Royce was the one doing the hype man at one time. And then I guess something happened. I guess Proof probably was like, yo, bro, I'm the nigga that made you. Like, if it wasn't for me in the hip hop shop, you would be nothing. Something like that, like a conversation like that. And he was like, yeah, fuck it, you could be the hype man. You know what I'm saying? So once Proof became the hype man, Royce was a nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas like him, they can't do it without getting an alley oop. They don't have the courage, the self esteem, or the heart to do it without quote unquote a welfare supporter. You know what I'm saying? He's not just gonna do hip hop because he love it. You feel what I'm saying? He gonna do it because it's a check there or because it's something there to gain from it. You know what I mean? We did it
Yeah.
because we love this shit because it saved our lives. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, with like dudes like that, you gotta watch out. So when I seen, I'm talking because I'm trying to remember this dude's name, man. Oh God. But anyway, dude was on Instagram and he was like, "Yo, Royce, you was a bitch ass nigga. Why would you block T Grizzly, knowing the nigga was a street nigga? He could have got shot or killed at any given moment. What if you'd have say, nah, make him wait, and he'd have died in that week? He would have never been heard of. You know what I'm saying? But that's what Royce been doing. You get him out of there, you know what I'm saying, and get Bizarre out of there and put some new, fresh energy in there, you'll get some better music from Detroit because if you pay attention, bro, they silenced everybody just so M can be heard. They silenced everybody. And I'm talking about this niggas in Detroit would whoop his ass on the mic right now. And Marv One is one of them. But they don't put the support behind the people that are good. They put the support behind the the cash cow or the machine. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
it don't matter at this point, bro. Like if you're not satisfied with everything you're done and you're still trying to diss Benzino, but you're not trying to rebuttal a rapper that you copied from, and you know that it's a possibility this gonna be a war for you, stop acting like you're the greatest. Stop acting like you're not a guest. because you was a guest in Newark, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? I always say to people, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. We was already established. You know what I'm saying? Some niggas was on the Fuji's album. Some niggas was already in the streets battling. Me, Slang Alone, we had street rap. We was at the pipeline battling. I won the pipeline battle one year. You know what I mean? Slang Alone was downtown. We used to cypher at the arcade with my nigga Maxul. We had the crowd popping. Niggas knew who we were in the streets. We would walk down, we was literally homeless walking the streets, and every time we see a little cypher, we'll stop and battle. What we didn't do though, we didn't go to New York. If we'd have went to New York, it would have been a problem. Because I remember we was rapping with AZ, and AZ was like, yo, y'all are fresh. You know what I'm saying? So if we'd have did more of that, it'd have been a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Dang. His phone died, bro.
Yep, that's what I was saying. His phone definitely
Fuck.
died.
God damn it. That was crazy.
That was so crazy.
That was so crazy. Everybody tuning in, we apologize. We Az Izz said he might worry about his phone dying. He might not have had the cord or whatever, but that was crazy. For people that were tuning in, that whole episode was crazy story shit that I did not know at all. And my mind is completely
I saw it on your
blown.
face when it started, and I was
My
like,
mind is completely
all right.
blown right now, bro. I'd like
all right.
that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
But shouts to our special guest this evening, Az Izz. We wish he could have stayed with us longer. I mean, we were already going on a full hour. He came a little late, but we were going on a full hour. I'm sure we would have kept talking for longer because he was giving us some crazy stories, knowledge. And
Yeah.
I know Pesto probably had some shit he wanted to ask him. I had some other shit I want to ask, but shouts to Az Izz, man, for being our special guest this evening on the CyphaDen Chat podcast. I'm sure we'll find some crazy clips out of that whole episode just as it was. You know what I'm saying? But yes, this is CyphaDen Chat podcast. It's presented by CyphaDen Music, where we inspire even those higher. And remember to never stop chasing your dreams, because you would never know what you are fully capable of. And yes, that's how we're going to end that. I'm your host, Tayamu Denku, my homie Pesto, Pestilence,
Whoa,
Pesto
where's
Legs.
the pesto? It's a big man pesto all night.
Yes, man. There it is, man. For people who have not, for people who are out of the loop, the Denko and the Pest tour is coming at y'all this fall, so make sure y'all check the dates. We might be in your area. We will stop by, and actually what Az Izz was talking about, we will cypher with y'all motherfuckers. I'm not afraid. I've been doing it since the long ago's. Pesto is still young in the game, but he has the fucking hunger, and we will be there at y'all motherfuckers. That's what it is. But yes, Az Izz was a special guest this night. We appreciate him. We got more shit coming. Make sure y'all tune in July 8th. Pesto, where's it at?
It's at Club LaFleur in Hartford, Wisconsin. It is the Red Rob Tour featuring Marcel P. Black, coming all the way from Oklahoma. I think originally of Louisiana.
Yeah,
it's gonna be dope, man. We got Deucalion, we got Denku, we got Pestilence, and we got Marcel, and he's bringing a DJ with him. Yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. Monday night show. I know it's a fucking Monday night, but I also know that means there ain't no goddamn way you got something better going on a Monday night. So
no
if you in the
possibility.
area, make sure you pop out. And you'll get a lot of dope fucking live hip hop on a Monday night in a dispensary.
Yeah, so pop out, man. July 8th, we're
Yeah.
gonna be there, man. It's gonna be a dope show, dope event. For everybody tuning in, you heard it here. Otherwise, you can check the socials. The flyer is out there. It's everywhere. We're gonna be in your area. We're gonna be popping off some dope fucking hip hop shit. But tonight, this is dope. CyphaDen Chat. Denku, I'm out of here. Pestilence, we out of here. Shouts to Az Izz. Peace, y'all.
Salute.
Till next time.
Peace.